Hello learners. Today we are going to learn about teaching practice. The objectives of the video are: after the session you'll be able to describe systematic way of teaching, follow proper teaching practice procedures. So let's begin. Teaching or training is an instructional activity of delivering a particular skill or subject. Through it, we aim to make learners learn through a method that is morally and learning wise acceptable. To do so, we need an instructor, learner, and content in the form of knowledge, facts, information, and skill to be taught. Teaching is a planned action done with the idea of making the learner learn. We can understand teaching in two different ways. 1. We can understand teaching to be an instructor centric activity in which knowledge is transferred from the instructor to the learner. 2. We can understand teaching to be a learner centric activity in which the instructor makes learning possible for learners by supporting and guiding learners in their journey of getting new knowledge and skills. Teaching or training skills. It is a complex activity in which an instructor needs to do many things and achieve many goals at the same time. The principles given below can make teaching more effective and efficient by helping us create the conditions supporting learners' learning. While following these principles requires us to spend time and effort, it leads to saving time and energy later on. Effective teaching involves acquiring relevant knowledge about trainees and using it to inform our course design and classroom teaching. When instructors are teaching something, they are not just sharing information, they are helping learners understand and learn that information. The learner's characteristics, that is, attitude, can affect learning. For example, learners' cultural background influence how they see the world. Educational backgrounds lead learners to approach problems in different ways. Good teaching involves aligning the three major components of instruction: learning objectives, instructional activities, and evaluation. Teaching will be more effective when
you can be able to explain the techniques of asking question या फिर explain the process of asking question.
A. The instructor sets certain knowledge and skills, also known as learning objectives, that are expected to be learnt and demonstrated by the learners after completion of the topic. The instructional activities, for example, case studies, labs, discussions, support these learning objectives by giving goal-oriented practice. C. The assessments, for example, test, problem solving, skill performances, provide opportunities for learners to demonstrate and practice the knowledge and skill set in the objectives, and for instructors to offer targeted feedback that can guide the trainees for further learning. Effective teaching involves stating the objectives clearly, teaching the topic by telling the purpose of learning the topic with example, completing the topic within the specific duration of time. When an instructor is clear about what learners are expected to learn, they can inform the learners clearly and directly about those expectations. This clear communication helps learners learn better and do well in their studies. Telling the learning objective clearly gives learners a clear target to aim for and enables them to monitor their progress along the way. Effective teaching involves prioritizing the knowledge and skills we choose to focus on. Don't try to do too much in a single course. Having too many topics work against learners' learning. So it is necessary for us to make decisions about what we can include in a course. This involves A. Recognizing the limits of the course, example, class size, learners' backgrounds and experiences, course position in the curriculum sequence, number of course units. B. Setting our priorities for learner learning. And C. Determining a set of objectives that can be comfortably completed. Effective teaching involves recognizing and overcoming our expert blind spots. As experts, we tend to use and apply our knowledge automatically and without realizing. For example, we connect ideas, use what we know, and choose the right methods automatically. So we often skip or combine important steps when we teach. But learners don't have the experience or knowledge to think of these steps, so they become confused. This causes them to make wrong conclusions and fails to develop important skills. Learners need instructors to break tasks into simpler steps, to explain connections clearly and model processes in detail. Though it is difficult for experts to do this, we need to identify and clearly communicate to learners the knowledge and skills which we taken for granted so that learners can see the experts' thinking and they can practice by applying it individually. Effective teaching involves adopting appropriate teaching roles to support our learning goals. We can take on a variety of roles in our teaching. Example, replace terms, synthesizer, moderator, challenger, commentator. These roles should be chosen to teach the learning objectives better and in support of the instructional activities. Principles of teaching. They are strongly connected to a guiding principle or a rule of behavior. In simple words, teaching methods are based on two types of principles: general principles and psychological principles. Principle of motivation. It creates curiosity among learners to learn new things. Principle of activity. Learning by doing. This includes both physical and mental activities. For example, learners are asked to make charts and models. 3. Principle of interest. By creating interest among the learners, the effectiveness of the teaching learning process can be increased. 4. Principle of linking with life. Life is a continuous experience and learning linked with life lasts longer. 5. Principle of definite aim.
Today we are going to be learn about racing. This technology useful to repairing work in the refrigeration systems.
Having a definite aim or clear goal helps instructors use their teaching tools effectively and ensures learners concentrate on learning what's necessary. 6. Principle of recognizing individual differences. Every learner is unique in terms of intelligence, attitude, abilities, and potential. Socioeconomic background. The way instructors teach should be designed so that every learner has the same chance to succeed in life. 7. Principle of selection. The knowledge in what we are trying to study is expanding each day. The instructor should be able to pick content that can be more relevant. They should also update that content as learners' objective. 8. Principle of planning. Every instructor has specific objectives they want to achieve within a certain time. Hence, teaching should be systematic to make efficient use of resources within the time limit. 9. Principle of division. To make learning easier, the subject matter should be divided into units and there should be links between the units. 10. Principle of revision. To make learners remember the things they learned, they should be kept revising repeatedly. 11. Principle of certain and recreation. This principle is a must to make classroom environment humorous and creative. 12. Principle of democratic dealing. We need to involve learners in planning and doing various activities. It helps in developing self-confidence and self-respect among the learners. Let's quickly recap what we have learned till now. This video on teaching practice covers the importance of effective teaching, emphasizing learner-centric approaches. It discusses principles such as motivation, activity-based learning, individual differences, and systematic planning. The instructor's role is highlighted, focusing on continuous reflection and adaptation. The principle aimed to create an engaging and effective learning environment, considering diverse learners' needs. I hope you have understood whatever was taught in the video. See you in another interesting and exciting video. Until then, thank you and goodbye.